Today I've got a classic story with a bit of drama, a bit of mystery, and yes, a very strong guy with a very big weakness. The story's called Samson and Delilah. Samson is known for his incredible strength, think superhero level, but even the strongest people can fall, especially when love gets complicated. Delilah? Well, let's just say she's not exactly the trusting type. This version of the story is perfect for intermediate English learners. I'll read it clearly and at a comfortable pace so you can follow the action and the heartbreak without missing a beat. So grab your headphones, maybe a snack, and let's dive into the wild tale of Samson and Delilah. Long ago in the land of Israel, there lived a man named Samson. He was no ordinary man. From the day he was born, Samson was blessed by God with incredible strength. His mother had promised God that Samson would never cut his hair. This was the secret to his strength. As long as his hair remained uncut, Samson would be the strongest man alive. As Samson grew, tales of his strength spread throughout the land. He could fight lions with his bare hands and defeat entire armies alone. The Philistines, enemies of Israel, feared him greatly. One day, while walking through a Philistine town called Sorek, Samson saw a beautiful woman named Delilah. Her eyes shone like stars, and her smile captured his heart immediately. Despite warnings from his friends and family about trusting Philistines, Samson fell deeply in love with her. "She is different," he told everyone who questioned his judgment. "Delilah loves me for who I am, not for my strength." What Samson didn't know was that the Philistine leaders had approached Delilah with an offer she couldn't refuse. "Find out the secret of Samson's strength," they told her, "and we will give you more silver than you have ever seen." Delilah agreed. Though her heart was troubled, she did care for Samson, but the promise of wealth was too tempting to ignore. That evening, as Samson rested his head on her lap, Delilah stroked his long hair and asked sweetly, "My love, how is it that you are so strong? What makes you different from other men?" Samson laughed. "Why do you want to know such a thing?" "Because I love you," she replied. "I want to know everything about the man who has captured my heart." Samson smiled but didn't tell her the truth. Instead, he made up a story. "If someone ties me with 7 fresh bowstrings that have not been dried, I will become as weak as any other man." Delilah pretended to believe him. Later that night, when Samson was asleep, she signaled to the Philistines hiding in her house. They bound Samson with 7 fresh bowstrings. "Samson!" Delilah shouted. "The Philistines are here to capture you." Samson woke instantly and broke the bowstrings as easily as if they were threads. The Philistines ran away before he could catch them. "You lied to me," Delilah pouted. "How can you say you love me if you won't share your secrets?" For several days, this pattern continued. Samson would tell Delilah a false secret about his strength. She would test it while he slept, and he would prove it wasn't true. "If you bind me with new ropes that have never been used," he told her once and another time, "if you weave the 7 braids of my hair into the fabric on your loom." Each time, Delilah tried and failed to weaken him. Each time, her frustration grew. Finally, after many days of questioning, Delilah changed her approach. Tears filled her eyes as she spoke. "How can you say you love me when your heart is closed to me? 3 times you have lied to me and made me look foolish." Day after day, she continued pressing him with her words and tears until Samson grew tired of her questions. His patience wore thin, and his heart became heavy. "No razor has ever touched my head," he finally admitted, "because I have been dedicated to God since before I was born. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me and I would become as weak as any other man." Delilah knew immediately that this time he was telling the truth. That night, She sent a message to the Philistine leaders. "Come now. He has told me everything." As Samson slept with his head in Delilah's lap, she called for someone to cut off the 7 braids of his hair. With each snip of the scissors, Samson's extraordinary strength began to drain away. "Samson!" Delilah shouted. "The Philistines are upon you." Samson awoke, thinking, "I'll go out as before and shake myself free." But he didn't know that the Lord had left him. Without his strength, the Philistines easily captured him. They poked out his eyes and took him to Gaza, where they bound him with bronze chains and forced him to grind grain in prison. For months, Samson lived in darkness, pushing the heavy millstone around in circles day after day. The Philistines mocked him, celebrating their victory over Israel's champion. But they didn't notice something important. Samson's hair had begun to grow again. One day, the Philistines held a great celebration in the temple of their god, Dagon. More than 3,000 people filled the temple, including all the Philistine leaders. "Bring out Samson to entertain us," they shouted, wanting to humiliate him further. Guards led the blind Samson into the temple and positioned him between 2 large pillars that supported the roof. "Let me feel the pillars that hold up the temple," Samson asked the young servant who guided him, "so I can lean against them." As his hands touched the cool stone, Samson prayed silently, "Lord, remember me. Please strengthen me just once more." With his hair grown back and his faith renewed, Samson pushed against the pillars with all his might. "Let me die with the Philistines," he shouted. The pillars cracked, then broke. The entire temple collapsed, killing Samson along with all the Philistine leaders and the thousands gathered inside. In the end, Samson's death accomplished more than his life had. He had fallen because of love and betrayal, but in his final moment, he found redemption. The story of Samson and Delilah lives on as a powerful reminder that our greatest strengths can sometimes lead to our greatest weaknesses, and that even after terrible mistakes, redemption is possible. Though Delilah's betrayal cost Samson his strength, his sight, and eventually his life, his legacy as one of Israel's most famous judges would be remembered forever. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, learning English is a journey. Every minute you spend practicing brings you closer to fluency. So be proud of the progress you're making. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you never miss a lesson. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like to learn next, leave a comment below. Stay motivated, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.